In this video, we're going to set up a web server. And so as we saw in the previous video, there's a lot of components to making a full stack application work. Now, we're not going to have to go purchase a web server from a company. We're going to get a free version of a web server that will run right on your desktop. And so this portion here will show you how to install that and explain what all the pieces are. First of all, let's go to the internet. I'm going to search on Google for USB web server. And the first site that comes up is this website called usbwebserver.net. There's lots of ways that you can install a web server, but this one works out to be a very simple product. It's free. You don't have to actually install it on your computer. You can run it on a USB stick. And so we'll go to the download page here, and then we're going to select the newest version of the USB web server. So we'll click here on this link for downloading the USB web server, and we'll watch it collect down here. And when it's finished, we'll open it up. So let's go see where this file went. Let's go look in the downloads area, and we'll see this file here called the USB web server. It's a zip file, a compressed zip file. So I'm going to right click on this file, and we're going to extract these files to a folder. So I'm going to right click and choose extract all. Now it's going to ask me for a destination. Where do I want this to happen? So let's go put it on the desktop. So I'll browse here. Let's make a new folder, and we'll call it the our web server folder or something like that. And then we'll click OK, and the word extract at the bottom. So once we've extracted the files, we'll have a folder here called USB web server. Let's see what's inside. There's a program here called USB web server. Notice it's an application, so we'll double click it and we'll get something to work. So let's see what comes up on the screen. The first time we run the program, it'll ask us what language we prefer. I'm going to choose English. We may have some security alerts. Allowing access means that this program will be allowed to go through our firewall, and so I'm going to choose allow access for both of these. Occasionally we get an error when this program starts, and so I'm going to close the program and restart it. I'm not sure what the errors are, but they seem to go away if I run the program again. Once I had to actually restart the computer to make these errors clear. Now I've got all green lights, I've got English chosen, and I have 4 buttons for my control panel. Let's start with this here button called localhost. Localhost is the address for this machine. It's a term that means whatever web server is running on this local computer. Notice when we launch the page that the address for our website is localhost:8080. The first time you load the web page, you'll see a web server configuration page. This is actually a good page to diagnose settings on your computer to see what's going on. And so we're not going to get into this right away right now. It's just let you know that this is here. Let's see where this web page comes from. I'm going to go back to my web folder, and inside here I'm going to look in the folder called root. And there's a index PHP file. I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to edit that with my editor. I have Notepad++ on my computer, and let's see what that looks like. Notepad++ is a free program that you can download from the internet, or you can just use Notepad. And so you can see inside here we have a bunch of code written in HTML, and we have it in PHP. For simplicity's sake, we're going to start with a blank page. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to do a Control-A, delete this page, recreate mine. I'm going to have HTML as my code, and then I'm going to have a simple header and a body. So I'm going to put in a header and a body, and then I'm going to put in a sentence that says, welcome to my web server. So that's about the most basic web page you can get. Let's save that. And let's go back to our localhost page. This time when I refresh it, I should see a very simple web page come up. So, you've got your web server running. Let's go see what's going on in the database server. Let's click here on this thing called PHP myadmin. Now the performance on this application is slow on my computer. Yours might be better, hopefully. But this is why you have a piece of free software running on a USB stick. It's not meant for high performance websites. The first thing you're going to have to do is log into the web server's page here on the database application. And so we are at this username and this password. They tell us what the username is here. It's root. So root is like the admin password. The password is listed as USBW. So let's type that in, USBW. And then the mySQL port is something we'll use when we come to programming later, but right now we'll ignore it and click Go. So now we have the web server running. We can save our password if we wish. And you'll see that this is the admin table for our database server. There's a database on this server already. It's called test. We'll just leave it as test. That works fine. We could delete it and create a new one. Let's see what's in the database. It's empty. There shouldn't be any tables there yet. Just to let you know that your database server's up and running, that's what we're going to do here. We'll create some data in here in the next few tutorials. Let's go back to our folder where our database server is. We found that in the root folder there's an index page. What else is there? Well, you can see that there's other folders that are working away, but we probably won't have to go diving inside of those just to know that they're there. So for instance, this one here, the PHP myadmin, is the program that we see running in the background right now. The mySQL server is what actually stores the database, and so we probably don't need to go in there. We're going to just let it use its work in the background. So there's the end of the second tutorial. We've set up a web server. We got it running, and so now we're going to start programming next.